Your Highnesses, Your Excellencies, esteemed guests, Assalamu alaikum and good evening. My name is Sally Musa, and I am honored to be your host for this, the 16th anniversary edition of Asia's most influential leadership event, the ABLF Awards 2022 at this, the world's greatest show, Expo 2020 Dubai. On behalf of Malini Menon, yes. On behalf of Malini Menon, founder and managing director of IDEA, and the president of the ABLF Executive Council, the ABLF Board of Governors, the Grand Jury, and the ABLF and IDEA teams, I welcome you all to this spectacular evening of friendship, camaraderie, and a celebration of authentic leadership. A big welcome as well to all of our virtual audience who are tuning in from around the world on our platform, ablf.com. The ABLF was launched in 2007 and has evolved into a global Asian platform of influence under the patronage and vision of His Highness Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan, who will be arriving later this evening to open the ABLF Awards grand ceremony, where 21 of Asia's most distinguished and dynamic leaders will be felicitated for their outstanding contributions to their respective communities, countries, and companies in a world that has been ravaged by the COVID-19 pandemic. In anticipation of this evening's celebratory agenda, the ABLF presents an insightful conversation that spotlights issues of consequence to every government and business leader. It is now my pleasure to introduce Tom Urquhart, our moderator for this extraordinary panel that we have curated for you tonight. Tom is a noted TV presenter who has hosted previous ABLF talks at the Expo 2020 Dubai. Tom, welcome to the ABLF Awards 2022 stage.
Sally, bless you. Thanks so much indeed for that one. Very kind indeed. Always lovely to get an intro from a former colleague as well. Great to see you, Sal. Thanks for that kind word. Right, listen, I know we're against time, so what I'm going to do is try and move this discussion on, because we thought it'd be nice to kick things off with a bit of a panel discussion for you. A little food for thought, if you like, and food might well crop up in the conversation as well. High-level panel discussion. The panel doesn't get much more high-level than the one we have for you tonight, but we are terming this one Resilience Rising, the Great Reset. So what are we here to do? We're here to have a conversation, rally around the strategies and the approach that leaders have adopted to help their individual organizations and communities recover from the socio-economic impact of the pandemic that we continue to fight at the moment around the world. Special focus on sustainability if we've got time. We also want to highlight some of the measures implemented by these leaders and other leaders to foster equitable growth and sustainable development. To that end, an utter honor to welcome up onto our stage our esteemed panelists for this event. First up, a South Korean diplomat who was the 8th Secretary General of the United Nations, January 2007 to December 2016. He led the efforts for the landmark Paris Climate Agreement, and under his leadership, the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, and the 2030 Agenda were quite simply created. Currently serves as the co-chair of the Ban Ki-moon Center for Global Citizens, which seeks to empower youth and women to become active global citizens in creating a sustainable future for all. An honor, a pleasure to welcome up onto the stage the 8th General Secretary of the United Nations, co-chair, Ban Ki-moon Center for Global Citizens, His Excellency, Ban Ki-moon. Your Excellency, thank you very much indeed. Lovely to see you. Thank you. Find your seat, sir. And joining he, Well, the VC and the CEO of Dubai Cares, a man who needs little introduction. He's been a primary driver behind the organization's success. He has enabled Dubai Cares to contribute to the evidence base in education, leverage funding, and invest in strategic relationships and programs that support the global education agenda and continue to do so today. He's with us here today to tell us a bit more about those initiatives. Please welcome up onto the stage the Vice Chairman, the CEO of Dubai Cares, His Excellency, Dr. Tarek Al-Gurd. Joining these two gentlemen, an honor and a pleasure to welcome somebody who, in her capacity as the Minister of Climate Change and Environment here in the UAE, has been quite simply spearheading the UAE's mission to mitigate and adapt to the impacts of climate change, protect the country's ecosystems, and implement measures to enhance food and water security. Initiatives in this regard, as well as her achievements in her previous role as the Minister of State for Food and Water Security, have been lauded, not just here in the region, but the world over, for their far-sighted approach, innovative solutions, and addressing global challenges. Please welcome to the stage the Minister of Climate Change and Environment for the United Arab Emirates, Her Excellency, Mariam Al-Maheri. And making up the panel today, again, another leader in industry here, the CEO, no less, of Majid Al Futtaim Holding, a Dubai-based lifestyle conglomerate operating in no fewer than 17 countries, 13 diverse industries as well. I think it's fair to say that he's been instrumental in transforming this business to be fit for purpose at the moment and sustainably serve 560 million customers visiting its destinations annually. Please welcome the CEO of Majid Al Futtaim Holding, Mr. Alan Bijani. Your Excellencies, it's an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much indeed for your time here today. And as I said, we are a little against time, but we'll try and squeeze as much in as possible. I'm going to start with you, Your Excellency, if I may, because I think it's all fair to say. Here's what we're getting to today. Resilience rising, the Great Reset. We've had the Great Resignation. That's all done and dusted. It's all about the Great Reset now. But also taking opportunity from adversity. When we've seen the disparity when it comes to recovery in different parts of the world, in different countries, different rates of recovery to the pandemic, what can we learn from that? And what do you suggest as measures to bridge the great divide that exists out there at the moment?
As you said, there are still a great divide, disparities, and inequalities while we are trying to address and fight back this coronavirus. The most important and serious lesson which we learned from this 2.5-year fight against the coronavirus is that we still are lacking global partnership, global coordination. Without the partnership, nothing can be done. However powerful or resourceful one country may be, this kind of a global pandemic can be fought back only when we are united. For example, African countries, I think average just less than 10% of people have been vaccinated, while people in United States, European Union, and the developed countries, they're almost 100%. In Korea, I think almost more than 90% have been vaccinated, revaccinated, and boosted. So this is a reality now. But this virus does not respect any borders. They just travel between and through people, transportations, and by air. Therefore, this is a very serious lesson. There is a serious inequities in vaccine distributions. Therefore, I am urging again that we are living in a small world, And if people in one area really suffer from this, then that means we all will suffer, continue to suffer. This is a hard lesson which I have learned while serving as a Secretary General. That is why the member states, 193 member states, have adopted the Sustainable Development Goals with Agenda 2030 and also Climate Change Agreement. Then we have to think, why then we are suffering from this pandemic? Because we have neglected our civil and moral responsibility to take care of our nature. This is our privilege given by the God. But we have neglected. We have degraded ecosystems. Then by degrading ecosystems, then animals do not have any place but to come nearer to human settlement. That's why we are getting this infected by this coronavirus. Therefore, I'm really urging that, first of all, developed countries, they should provide necessary financial and medical support to all the people around the world. Nobody will be safe until everybody is safe. Nobody is safe until everybody is safe. This is a hard lesson. The coordination, global partnership. I'll tell you one just experience of my own. In 2014, the Western African countries, including Liberia, Sierra Leone, Guinea, were swept, devastated by Ebola. This has a much harsher, dangerous mortality rate, 45% mortality rate, while coronavirus, Omicron, is less than 2% of mortality rate. I raised and mobilized all the resources, all the organizations. The WHO, which now has been struggling to fight alone without the full support from all member states. I took myself, my own leadership under me, the Security Council, who are often divided, but they were united. The General Assembly were united. They took the decision to establish a special mission devoted to fight back this Ebola. The UNMIR, United Nations Mission for Ebola Emergency Response. This is by far the first time the United Nations has established a mission to fight back this disease. Normally we have 16 UN peacekeeping missions, but there has never been a mission to keep people safe from these viruses. So we have to learn from the past experience, but this time we failed, seriously failed. First of all, Security Council took 3 months to declare that coronavirus is a serious threat to the maintenance of international peace and security, while during my time, the Security Council just took 1 day declaring that Ebola was the serious threat to the international peace and security. So this is a hard lesson. We should not repeat again. If we repeat, we'll be guilty to our succeeding generation. Thank you.
And thank you very much indeed for those kind words. Tarek, let's bring you into the conversation because, look, all industries have been here. Education, like all others, has faced its challenges during the pandemic. And yet, have we also been given an opportunity to see the future of education, if I can go that far? And where do we go from now? I like what His Excellency was saying about partnerships there. Is this key to moving forward with that future of education that we've had an insight to?
Well, look, Tom, the education issue has been an issue way before COVID. When COVID hit, it was just it just amplified the issue even more. And if you look at the numbers, I think what was needed before COVID, it was $138 billion. After COVID, it became $200 billion. And you can realize the effect on education. Now, there are good news on a post-COVID-19 era for education. The biggest issue was that education did not have that unity globally. And no matter, and I remember the former Secretary General, he did establish in 2012 his own initiative, which was called Education First, Your Excellency, remember? Education, yeah. And we happen to be one of the 20 organizations in the technical advisory group that you selected us, so thank you very much. But you see, and a UN Special Envoy for Global Education was appointed by the Secretary General to unite the sector, to bring everyone from UN to global mechanisms, to NGOs, to academic institutions, to academia, to researchers, but also philanthropists and foundations. And the UN Special Envoy, of course, is Gordon Brown, and the unity happened. But still, the flow of money, Tom, was the biggest issue. The collaboration between the entities was another issue. You are an organization that is 60, 70 years old. You were formed during the World War or after the Second World War. It's very hard to change your mandate now to collaborate with someone else. And that was the issue in education. But a lot of people don't realize how important education is for climate, how education is for agriculture, how education is important for business, and so on and so forth. So it's the only goal that I see that cross-cuts in all the other goals. If we want to go to Mars quicker than 6 months or 9 months, it's education that will take us there, and so on and so forth, for COVID and for all the other pandemics or diseases. So let's go back in time a bit.
Yeah.
Education was created, the education system, the schooling system that we are on right now, and our children and our ancestors, was created for a bunch of farmers and people who worked in industrial factories to bring them up to a middle class level and to high level. And what happened was the era that was there at that time, we were talking about the second and the third industrial revolution. It was during that time. So it was done for a different group of people. 120 years passed, fast forward today, we have a totally new approach to life. We have a technological advancement that we cannot stop, and how it's evolving. So what we have to do today, and with all the technological advancement that is happening, we have to create a new system. Now, what COVID-19 did is it united the sector, finally. And the new Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, now launched the UN Summit, which probably I will talk into later on, but not now, in order to solve the problem. So if you see what the UN Secretary General did, Ban Ki-moon at that time, and what the UN Secretary General is doing now, education is coming back on the map. And I spoke to Malini a lot. The problem is Asia is not investing in education globally, in development. And if the ABLF can play that role to bridge West and East together, I think this will be the consortium and the leaders and the governments who will actually put the first tranche of investments from the East to global mechanisms. So I'll stop here and we'll take the conversation.
We will take it a little further, but I do want to bring Her Excellency into the conversation here. And again, I love the reiteration of the word partnership, the word collaboration. Again, something we've talked about on the radio during the pandemic a lot has been this need for greater collaboration. And so whilst a lot of people have been through a lot of hurt, Your Excellency, has it also sort of pulled focus on some of the most salient problems in our world at the moment, especially food security, not just in this part of the world, but the part of the world, but elsewhere, and brought more people together around a table to find solutions?
Thank you so much, Tom. Thank you for ABLF. Thank you for all of you for being here and to be here on this esteemed panel. Yes, it's been quite a journey. The buzzwords are food security, climate change, and I'm so honored that I have that position as a Minister for Climate Change and Environment with the food security file as well. Just want to tell you all a little bit of the journey where it started. So something we're really proud of here in the UAE is that our leadership really has foresight. And in 2017, when I was given the post of Minister of State for Food Security, I remember His Highness telling me, we need a plan, we need technology, and we need to advance R&D. So we got to work. Now the UAE has the National Food Security Strategy. And this was all done before COVID hit. And you can imagine, so this was done, the governance model was set out, and then COVID hit March 2020. Gosh, it's 2 years ago already. And we were like, oh, okay, now we've got to get to work. Now we've got to see if all the programs we've set in place is going to work. And the good thing is, because we had the political will, because we had the plans in place, and because the stakeholders understood their roles under the food security umbrella, it was such an effective system that we did not experience any empty shelves of any major food commodities in the UAE. Everyone that lives here in the UAE has probably seen in the last years such a rise in local produce. And we've really harnessed the power of technology, looking at what makes commercial sense to grow, because we're always keeping in mind about water as well. And also on the other side, so there's growing the food on one side, but there's also the consumers, us. How are we choosing food? How are we cooking food? What are we putting in the bin? So the consumers play a huge role in this as well. Partnerships play such a huge role, Tom. One thing we're really proud of is the partnership we've done to move a global initiative called AIM for Climate, Agriculture Innovation Mission for Climate. This is with the United States of America. And many people asked, UAE, USA for agriculture? We don't understand. The whole idea is that these two countries understand that the only way we can transform our food systems is to harness the power of technology and innovation. And even though one country is a huge agriculture country, the other country is more of a food importing country, we both realize that more research and development must be done, more investment in research and development must be done to accelerate this transformation. So we have brought together in the last, so it was announced at COP26, we're now 5 months ahead. We had the first ministerial meeting 2 weeks ago. We have already committed to $4 billion into this transformation. We're now 140 partners, so 40 country partners, 100 non-government partners, and we've also dedicated innovation tracks, getting developing countries to be with us in low-tech, in emerging technologies, etc. So it's such an exciting global movement where partnership is key.
Partnership, again, is the recurring theme. And Ellen, I want to get your thoughts on this as well, because a lovely little phrase there from Her Excellency about harnessing the benefits of tech and innovation to fit purpose and make business fit purpose as well. Again, from your personal experiences, and I think you've been credited, or certainly have been credited quite rightly, by leading that digital transformation. And I know, Alan, that you were leading that before the pandemic. But again, did the pandemic press fast forward for that transformation to make business fit for purpose?
I would say yes. It pressed forward. It accelerated trends. There is nothing new that we discovered in 2020 that we did not know quite well in 17, 18, 19, or a bit before. So it actually pushed us forward. It helped scale, which was important for businesses, because this was always a big obstacle. There is a lot of cost, and there is much scale. Scale would take more time than expected. So from that standpoint, that was very, very helpful. The reality is, I think the biggest learning out of COVID, in addition to what have been said, is the fact that we've learned very, very early on in 2020 the importance of resilience over efficiency. And this actually talks to what Her Excellency was saying. The biggest problem we had is that we've been for decades driving efficiency, driving margins, driving growth. and basically downplaying the importance of resilience, because we always consider that nothing will change. Supply chains will be there, they will be resilient, and all what matters is to just have enough when you need it, but not to have if something happens. And we now know that the world basically could deal with black swans more often than we think, or what we would consider black swans. And I think here in the UAE, we've had such a good experience with COVID, if one can say. I mean, Her Excellency was talking about food security, for example, and we are basically a player in that field with Carrefour. And the reason why is because we had our fundamental rights. Being resilient is not only a matter of preparation, but it's also a matter of getting the fundamentals right. And in a lot of ways, the private sector and the public sector forget the fundamentals, and we drive basically based on the trend, what matters at that point in time. And we slowly but surely drift apart from where the fundamentals really set. I think in the UAE, we always had the fundamentals right. And this is what actually allowed us on multiple dimensions, not only on the food security side, but actually whether it's on the economy in general, whether on the social dimension, whether it's on education, whether it's on our ability to rebound very fast, is because we always got the fundamentals right, and we always had an eye in the microscope and an eye in the telescope. This is very important. We sometimes are either too micromanaging or too much macromanaging, and in the meantime, you have this helicopter view that you lose. And from a business standpoint, this is something, in my opinion, that's priceless, that will continue to be priceless in the future, and would really underline the real value of our businesses.
But given the scale of your business, Aman, and the different brands that are involved, and the millions of customers as well, how do you go about building that resilience? Does it take the events of the last 2 years to prompt us to address that resilience? And is that something that you've tried to actively do through the narrative of Majid Al Futtaim?
So certainly the last 2 years events have been very helpful, because suddenly resilience in everyone's mind. And what we have seen post, I would say, the hardcore COVID, which is basically 2020 and the supply chain disruptions globally, and what we expect to see in the coming months and years, basically strengthen the need for that narrative to basically take precedence on many other things. But the reality is, again, resilience, it doesn't take COVID or a global pandemic to do it. It takes just foresight. I think you mentioned the fact that in 2017, it was foresight that actually led, for example, the UAE government to say we need to have a minister for food security. And basically we need to start working on that, because simply this is an eventuality that we need to be prepared for. And you know, all of us business people here and government work a lot on redundancy and work a lot on business continuity. But business continuity is seen in the case, for example, of a disruption in a point in time, an act of war, etc. Never in the context of actually everything around you shutting down. So for example, who has a view today, what will their business be like if tomorrow there is no internet? I don't think many do have an answer. I mean, people would smile. It is not impossible that we might have to face these things. So our role is actually to develop foresight, and develop foresight by working on what ifs, not only working on how can I actually optimize what I have. And what we have done, for example, at Majid Al Futtaim was very early on, starting 2015, starting to basically having basically front and center of our strategy is simply to be fit for purpose. And what does that mean? It's not about improving our bottom line. It's not about improving our margins. It's not about just only about scaling up. Now, some business partners would tell you they also wanted to improve the bottom line and the margin and scaling up, etc., which is also true. But you have to be able to do both, because this is the reality of the world going forward. The world going forward is not anymore unidimensional. Things that happen to you are not only what you think about, but a lot that actually you do not define, and you have to basically work with the hand you are dealt. And this is the reality going forward. This means we have to invest more in people. Going back to education, I think what you said about it's important for business. We have to invest more in people. one of the first things that we have done in 2015 is actually start to invest in people, personal leadership development through establishing a leadership institute that actually came to bear in 2020 because we needed our people to have this strength and those capabilities and this wide, I would say, spectrum of personal leadership capabilities to deal with the situation and turn around kind of an oil tanker in the span of 10 to 15 days, which is those typical March 15 to end of March, where you had to basically really relook at everything, etc. Investing in people is very important. Investing in the resilience of your systems. Investing in your ability to be smart and really understand the world around you, not just basically understand how you get better out or more out of it. And also making sure that you think beyond the, I would say, near to medium term. What is the real value that basically, I would say, underpin your business, and why do you really make money? It's not about how much money do you make. How many of us can really answer why do we make money? Because a lot of companies do. I'm talking about the private sector, but very few really know why do they make money. What actually sets them apart and how they can always be fit for purpose in that context. Not just in the context of market competition, which at the end of the day, any player competes with anyone else. That's normal.
Appreciate we're up against time, and I appreciate we've set out the landscape. We're going to try and get a couple of solutions from our esteemed panel now as well. And Your Excellency, I mean, given the role that the ministry does as well, one word I don't think we've spoken enough about, but again, it goes back to investment. Investment into sustainability. That's obviously been a key part of what you've done in your various roles. But again, are we seeing more urgency for that now?
Absolutely. I mean, if we look at our net zero by 2050 strategic initiative, this was announced because of a framework done in the country with all the stakeholders, understanding that this journey of net zero is actually full of opportunities. And not, because a lot of people maybe in the past were thinking, if I have to now think of doing something for climate change, is this going to be more of an investment for me? No, actually now it makes sense. It makes sense for us as human beings and for the planet. And it's also so important that people realize that this new trajectory is a new vehicle of opportunities. It will attract new skills. It will attract new industries. And it is also a platform for partnerships as well.
Apologies to cut you off, Your Excellency, but we do have, right now, he has just walked into the room, His Highness, Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan. Ladies and gentlemen. And we also welcome His Highness Sheikh Ahmed bin Saeed Al Maktoum.
Yeah.
Plus.
They want to wrap it up, so
So thanks for their Highnesses for joining us. And with the arrival of our special guests, we will wrap things up here quickly on the stage in our discussion. Your Excellency, we're talking about sustainability and the importance of investment therein. Sorry, we're interrupted.
No problem. Yeah, talking about this new trajectory path and that people should see this as an opportunity, a vehicle to jump on board and do what's best for humanity and the planet.
Tariq, I suppose we've shown the landscape of a few of the issues that we're facing in education, climate change, and otherwise. How do we fix it? How do you go about fixing it with Dubai Cares?
Well, it's very important, the partnership, collaboration, unity bit. So now it's working in the sector. So what we were working on for the past 3 years on the content, but 2 years before that, meaning 5 years earlier, is on a global summit. And we launched that summit last December here at Expo, the Rewired Summit. It's a partnership between Dubai Cares, our Ministry of Foreign Affairs, as well as Expo. Now, what we brought at the summit, we brought heads of state, we brought ministers of education, ministers of climate, ministers of foreign affairs, ministers of international aid, ministers of IT, ministers of youth, to talk about the SDG. Which SDG? We're talking about SDG 4. So without solving the education problem, we believe, and the entire education community globally, that the other SDGs will also suffer. So getting the Rewired Summit, having a global voice, will not work by itself. So we got in touch with the UN Secretary General's office, and we told them, how about the Rewired Summit playing a very big role within the UN Summit on Transforming Education that's going to happen in December during the UN General Assembly. And the good news now is that the outcomes report that's going to come out from the Rewired Summit will be a main building block of the UN Summit on Transforming Education. So the link is there. We have the World Government Summit in Dubai. We have the World Economic Forum at Davos. And if we tap into all these platforms and all these summits that are happening and emphasize on the importance of education, we have the COP27 in Egypt, COP28 in Abu Dhabi. And if we work our way to instill education, I remember, Your Excellency, in 2019, and I believe Minister Al-Ziyudi, he's here, the UAE hosted the climate meeting at the World Government Summit, and you were there. And I was asked by Minister Al-Ziyudi just to come and just to see how education can work with climate, and it's there, we can work. And I was talking about leadership, and leadership starts with the youth, and without getting the youth into the game, without putting climate issues into schools and into universities, how will we solve all these problems? So, to put all of this, we have to create a new ecosystem for education. We have designed an ecosystem for the past 5 years. We've been working on it. I have been personally working on it closely with the team. I have my strategic partners at Rewired Summit from the majority are from UN agencies, but I also have the World Bank as well as the World Economic Forum and the OECD with me. So bringing all the decision makers globally, talking about what systems needs to be changed in education, that's the game. And once we change education, we will hopefully get it. And if Alan Bejani allows me to get $10 from every single 560 million customers of his, Dubai Cares will get $5.6 million, and I can help the United Nations on that. So thank you very much.
The challenge is set down.
Thank you.
Listen, we are against time here, unfortunately, and we do have to wrap things up. So thank you very much indeed for your patience. Wanted to say a big thank you to our esteemed panelists as well. Thank you all for being with us up here on the main stage. We will have the ABLF Awards following in just a few moments' time, but please put your hands together for your esteemed panel of specialists for our high-ranking panel. Enjoy the awards.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Tom. And thank you to all of our esteemed panelists there. And once again, good evening to you, and salam alaikum to your highnesses, your excellencies, and our distinguished guests. I would like to acknowledge, of course, their highnesses who have just joined us. But before we do continue on with this evening, if I can just remind everybody who is joining us tonight to please do wear your mask, as it is still protocol to do so. Thank you so much for doing that. And so, as we begin once again, on behalf of Malini Menon, the founder and managing director of IDEA, and the president of the ABLF Executive Council, the ABLF Board of Governors, the Grand Jury, and the ABLF and IDEA teams, I welcome you all once more to the spectacular evening of friendship, camaraderie, and a celebration of authentic leadership at this, the 16th anniversary edition of Asia's most influential leadership event, the ABLF Awards 2022 at Expo 2020 Dubai. And so once again, a big welcome to those who are joining us online, on ablf.com. We are so pleased to have you with us. And for those who don't know, the Asian Business Leadership Forum has been the annual highlight of the UAE events calendar since 2007, growing in stature and building great equity as a UAE-grown global platform that focuses on the rise of Asia in the Great Asian Century. The ABLF series has been held under the patronage and presence of His Highness Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan, UAE Cabinet Member and Minister for Tolerance, one of the UAE's most beloved leaders, and it has a unique history. Launched on the cusp of the global downturn of 2008, the ABLF has built a dynamic and rich ecosystem featuring Asia's finest minds, intellects, and leadership excellence through engaging formats across the ABLF Talks, the ABLF Awards, and the ABLF publications, each of them a complete communication channel that supports the coming together of the very best of Asia. The platform rallies around the influence of integrity-led leadership and the powerful ABLF network, who amongst them control regional and global conglomerates with total revenues of over $900 billion. And the Great Asian Century, a brand new title on March 30th, 2022. It's going to be an annual listicle assembled by the ABLF Grand Jury and the Executive Council. The ABLF 50 will coincide with the UAE's Jubilee year and will spotlight 50 iconic leaders every year thereafter who serve as inspiration for a troubled world. Delivered in print and digitally, the ABLF 50 is targeted to reach over 500 million people through the assets of our immense media partnerships. And now, as we celebrate 16 years of over 1,000 impeccably delivered events, initiatives, and activations, we pause to express gratitude to the ABLF patron since 2007, His Highness Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan. The active support of the UAE Ministry of Economy, and importantly, the ABLF co-founder, His Excellency Kamal Nath, a veteran statesman of India with a career in politics that has spanned over 4 decades, a visionary whose strong ties with the UAE and the larger Asia region has helped the platform reach an extraordinary level of success. We also reiterate our commitment to our partnerships with the UAE Ministry of Economy, support the vision of His Excellency Dr. Tariq Al-Gurg and his lifelong commitment to development, education, and ensuring a global focus on the nation's humanitarian narrative. At ABLF, we have always been particular about the company that we keep, and our partnerships have reflected our convictions and conversations. So this evening, we're going to stop to thank the giants who have always stood with us, from Sana'at to DP World and the Adani Group to our 2022 partners. The Aditya Birla Group, the $45 billion conglomerate with a presence in over 40 nations across the world. Zand, the first digital bank in the world to provide retail and corporate banking. Etisalat, the world's fastest mobile network. Damani, 1969, our luxury partner. UNICEF, our strategic partner. And, of course, from the media, CNBC Arabia, Khalij Times, Hindustan Times, ZTV, WION, and Muscat Daily. And so, tonight, the ABLF honors 21 Asian leaders, their indomitable courage, their consuming passions and for excellence and their influence over Asia as advocates for positive change. And so we applaud their visionary ideals and we celebrate their successes, and we also acknowledge the effort and the time of our esteemed ABLF Grand Jury and the Executive Council in curating this evening's profile and of our award recipients. The theme for the ABLF Awards this year, Resilience Rising, the Great Reset, reflects the new leadership energy of Asia as we find our way back to recovery and growth, thanks to the resilience and spirit of innovation showcased by its leaders.
COVID-19 pushed the whole world to pause, assess, and reassess the way we lived, worked, and conducted business. Now, 2 years on, here we are, gathered under one roof, to once again celebrate leaders who have boldly taken on challenges of the times, forged new paths, and steered their companies, communities, and countries towards recovery.
The need for developing partnerships, the need to really look at a win-win type of solution.
The 16th edition of the ABLF Awards is themed Resilience Rising, the Great Reset, a tribute to the unwavering spirit of all the exemplary leaders gathered here today in recognition of their steadfast vision, commitment to transformation, and pursuit of excellence.
It's not about sort of men versus women, it's simply about the progressive world versus the non-progressive world.
The spirit of resilience is the new enduring narrative that the ABLF has sought to recognize and honor in the leaders of the post-pandemic era. The ABLF continues to accelerate and evolve in the face of new challenges. With over 800 high-level in-person events and initiatives since 2007, we've brought leaders together in conversations, collaborations, and celebrations through our compelling talk shows, informative investor meets, and inspiring recognition events, carrying forward the UAE leadership's narrative of tolerance, inclusivity, and knowledge-led development.
Well, this is an event which takes the process of the integration of Asia even further. It recognizes Asian leaders and looks at Asia as the leaders of the 21st century.
In October 2020, in the face of the global chaos caused by the pandemic, we launched the ABLF Talks virtual conclaves at the virtual venue, ABLF City, bringing together the world's top leaders from business, academia, government, and social sector in debates and discussions on the most urgent issues facing humanity. 17 insightful editions of the ABLF Talks featuring over 120 global leaders have laid the blueprint for the path ahead after the turbulence of the past 24 months, so that even though the world stopped, the conversations didn't. Leveraging our extensive experience and great success in establishing the ABLF platform over the past 2 decades, 2022 will see the launch of ABLF 50, Leaders of the Asian Century, a global publication that will tell the stories of outstanding leaders who have demonstrated courage, innovation, and agility as empathetic trailblazers of Asia. However, this evening, it's all about honoring the ethos of resilient leadership. We are here with some of the world's most admired, inspiring, and incredible leaders and influencers for the 16th edition of the ABLF Awards, under the patronage of His Highness Sheikh Nahyan Mubarak Al Nahyan, UAE Minister of Tolerance and Coexistence, in partnership with the UAE Ministry of Economy, and co-hosted by Dubai Cares at the Expo 2020 Dubai. Welcome to a night like no other. Welcome to a celebration of resilience. Welcome to the ABLF Awards Gala.
And now, yes. And now, before I welcome His Highness Sheikh Nahyan bin Mubarak Al Nahyan onto the stage to commence the award ceremony, we would like to pay tribute to His Highness, who has been the very backbone of the ABLF. Your Highness, it is now my honor to invite you up to the stage to begin the award ceremony. His Highness will first address the audience in a very special address to celebrate this moment and this evening.
Your Highness, Sheikh Ahmed bin Saeed Al Maktoum, honored award winners, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the United Arab Emirates, to the vibrant city of Dubai, to the Expo 2020 Dubai, and to the 16th annual awards presentation of the Asian Business Leaders Forum. I extend a warm greetings to all of you, whether you are here in person or participating through access to television, print, or digital media. I am pleased you are all with us this evening. We are here because we know the immense value of the ABLF initiatives. ABLF devotes its energy and resources to promoting the great potential of Asian business. It highlights a clear determination in the region to improve the business and the economic environment, to promote growth and development, to encourage innovation at all levels, and to have a greater participation and influence in the global economy. ABLF is clearly dedicated to fostering the regional cooperation essential to the growth of knowledge and of seizing opportunities in Asia countries. We are all grateful for the vision, the energy, and the professional competence that Ms. Melanie Menon and her colleagues at the ABLF have invested in these annual awards for the past 16 years. Ms. Melanie and her team support of Dubai Care and their association with the UNICEF clearly demonstrate their empathy and compassion. I admire ABLF's support for this important and worthy organization and express my great respect for their strong sense of social responsibility and human fraternity. We are all likewise indebted to the outstanding individuals who are being honored this evening. All of you have overcome challenges, embraced change, and exercised creativity and vitality to advance and strengthen development and progress of Asian countries. Tonight, we celebrate your contributions to our region and to the world at large. Your careers and your remarkable contributions to society reaffirm the fact that able and dedicated people can and do make a positive difference in the world. Your Highness, my dear friends, you have come together tonight under the theme Resilience Rising, the Great Reset. I am struck by how profoundly this theme captures this point in world history. We are emerging from the challenging experience of the COVID-19 with new insights new constraints, and a renewed determination to create a new normal that will allow us to thrive collectively as human beings. We have become more aware of our common values of tolerance, coexistence, and human fraternity. And with this awareness, we are ready to cooperate regionally and globally in the face of all challenges. ABLF and similar organizations, as well as Asian leaders, and particularly this evening's winners, are actively shaping the future to accomplish these goals. It is appropriate that you choose to hold this event at Expo 2020 Dubai here in the United Arab Emirates. The enlightened leadership of our President, His Highness Sheikh Khalid bin Zayed Al Nahyan, and with the strong support of His Highness Vice President, Prime Minister, and ruler of Dubai, Sheikh Mohammed bin Rashid Al Maktoum, and that of His Highness Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, and Deputy Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces. We strongly believe that our success as a country and our success together in the world community depends on our deep commitment to supporting ideas and developments that improve the lives of people, now and in the future, here in the UAE, in the region, and throughout the world. This year, our country celebrates two important events in its history. The first is our Golden Jubilee as a nation, and the second is Expo 2020 Dubai. Both events relate to the future we seek for ourselves and for the entire world. Expo 2020 Dubai has demonstrated that peaceful, tolerant, and stable societies have a significant advantage in creating an environment where free trade and investment can prosper, where knowledge is shared, where technological developments are utilized, and where market confidence and economic competitiveness are encouraged. At Expo 2020 Dubai, and in our 50th year as a nation, we celebrate our great success in the United Arab Emirates of having a remarkable balance between the goal of creating a market-oriented competitive economy and our commitment to our beliefs, values, principles, and the well-being of all people. Expo gives us the opportunity to work together, to create something better for future generations, to do our part in redesigning and reshaping the future, and to transform the world for the good of all of us. Let me close by noting once again that these ABLF Awards bring into focus the winners' excellent work and give us a chance to thank them for enriching our lives. Tonight's celebration is an expression of both our pride and our gratitude. It is also a celebration of the values we share, values that enrich the human spirit, the passion and the hard work, the honesty, the commitment, the dedication, the resilience to the good common and the focus that success requires. My warmest congratulations to all the winners. We applaud your admirable accomplishments. We also praise for you the moral sense that marks your actions. Thank you for the opportunity to address you this evening. My best wishes to all of you. Thank you very much.
Your Highness, if I could request for you to stay on the stage, please. We welcome up to the stage His Highness Sheikh Ahmed. Thank you so much for that wonderful, wonderful acknowledgement of this very special moment, this very special milestone. And we are now about to present the 2022 winners of the ABLF Awards. But just before we do, I request all of the award recipients to have your acceptance speeches ready, because media and our partners are going to be waiting for you in the networking area. And as the awards conclude, our media team will escort you to the media walls for your acceptance comments as well. And so now, for the very first award of the night, the ABLF Sustainable Leadership Icon Award goes to Her Highness Sheikha Khawla bint Ahmed bin Khalifa Al-Suwaidi, founder of Khawla Art and Culture UAE. I would like to request Dr. Lamis Al-Qaisi, the director of the Khawla Art and Culture, to come up onto the stage, here she is, and accept the award on her behalf. Her Highness Sheikha Khawla bint Ahmed bin Khalifa Al-Suwaidi is one of the young cultural icons hailing from the UAE's royal family and has played an integral part in advancing the soft power of the UAE through various initiatives. Thank you. And now, for the winners of the ABLF Social Influencer Award, and the first recipient is Her Highness Sheikha Dr. Shamma bint Muhammad bin Khalid Al Nahyan, Chairperson of the Board of Directors, Sheikh Muhammad bin Khalid Al Nahyan Cultural and Educational Institutions. May I request His Highness Sheikh Tahnoon bin Khalifa bin Muhammad bin Khalid Al Nahyan to receive the award on Her Highness's behalf. Her Highness is one of the leading figures in the UAE who works to spread culture and knowledge and enshrine the concept of social and national awareness amongst the new generations. Thank you. Our next recipient of the ABLF Social Influencer Award is the inspirational Mr. Majid Al-Usaimi, President of the Asian Paralympic Committee and UNICEF National Ambassador for the UAE. In his role as President of the APC and UNICEF National Ambassador, he has helped to empower children and articulate their needs and rights to decision makers. Congratulations, Mabrook. Alf Mabrook. And now in the arts, our next outstanding recipient of the ABLF Social Influencer Award is none other than the legendary Sabyasachi Mukherjee, the global designer, the sustainability activist, and founder of Sabyasachi. Mr. Mukherjee's immense creativity and global collaborations have revolutionized the Indian fashion industry, creating value for stakeholders and the larger community. Under his leadership and innovative approach, his brand Sabyasachi has put India in the middle of the global fashion map. Congratulations. And now our final recipient for the ABLF Influencer Award is Nusser Yassin, CEO and founder of globally popular NAS Daily and NAS Academy. As a content creator and social media superstar, Nusser Yassin has not only educated and empowered millions of people around the world with his unique storytelling, but he's also inspired other creators to share their stories and experience. Congratulations. And now for the ABLF Ambassador of Commerce Award. It goes to His Excellency Zayed Al-Zayani, Minister of Industry, Commerce and Tourism for the Kingdom of Bahrain. His Excellency Al-Zayani's visionary leadership has set Bahrain on the path of recovery from the disruption caused by the pandemic, creating a roadmap for sustainable growth and development for the future. The ABLF Trailblazer Award goes to Her Excellency Maryam bint Mohammed Saeed Harb al-Maheri, Minister of Climate Change and Environment for the UAE. Yes. One of the most inspirational women. Mabruk, congratulations. Her Excellency Al-Maheri is spearheading the country's mission to mitigate and adapt to the impacts of climate change while protecting its ecosystems. Next is the ABLF Business Excellence Award, which goes to Purushottam Agrawal, founder of Ajanta Pharma Limited and chairman of Sumta Group, India. Mr. Agrawal is a visionary entrepreneur and philanthropist who has led his company to incredible success, making a mark across continents in sectors as varied as pharmaceuticals, biotechnology, mining, solar power, and blockchain technology. And now, we announce the winner of the ABLF Business Courage Award. And the winner is Mr. Zhang Zhenghua, Chairman of the Middle East Region Committee at ICBC. Under his leadership, ICBC's Middle East operations focus on financing sectors of national and strategic importance in the region, including infrastructure investment and economic diversification. And now, for the ABLF Outstanding Business Achiever, the award goes to Adib Ahmed, Managing Director of Lulu Financial Holdings. A multifaceted entrepreneur spearheading several companies in varied sectors, his business acumen, vision, and tailor-made strategies and philanthropic mindset have elevated his initiatives to great success. Congratulations. And now for the ABLF Rising Star Award. The winner is Her Excellency Shamma bin Suhail Faris Al-Mazroui, Minister of State for Youth Affairs. Under Her Excellency Al-Mazroui's visionary leadership, the UAE has taken on huge strides in the empowerment of youth, setting development plans and initiating measures to maximize their potential. And I love this. Look who's coming up onto the stage to receive the award as well with Her Excellency. Amazing. Beautiful. And there's the future leadership right there. So sweet. Alf Mabruk, congratulations. Somebody's found a new toy. That thing is going up on the highest shelf in the house, I can tell you right now. And next, the ABLF Outstanding Business Economist Award goes to Dr. Ron Malka, Director General for the Ministry of Economy and Industry for Israel. Dr. Malka is an economist and diplomat who has played a pivotal role in fostering private-public sector partnerships, spotlighting the potential in Israel and guiding companies and institutions in the Israeli market and beyond to achieve their optimal levels of growth. For the ABLF Business Innovator Award, we have two special recipients. The first honoree is Her Excellency, Dr. Aisha bin Bishr, Vice Chairwoman of Amar Development Board and former Founding Director General of Smart Dubai. Her Excellency's vision and incredible accomplishments have transformed Dubai into a global role model for smart city transformation as envisioned by the UAE leadership. Through her varied roles in government and business, Her Excellency Dr. Aisha has provided inspiration to millions of Arab women. And our second winner of the ABLF Business Innovator Award is Miss Nadia Zal, CEO of Zaya and Al Barari. An accomplished businesswoman, Nadia Zal has established some of the most enviable destinations in the region, while also emphasizing the sustainability narrative that the country promotes. And now for the ABLF Lifetime Achievement Award. And it goes to Mr. Arun Puri, Chairman and Editor-in-Chief of India Today. As the founder and chairman of one of the most iconic and successful media organizations in India, Mr. Puri has been instrumental in changing the face of journalism. India Today has set the gold standard for journalism, proving to be the true voice of a country of over 1 billion people through its print, broadcast, and digital reportage. Our next honored recipient of the ABLF Lifetime Achievement Award is His Excellency Lieutenant General Mohammed Ahmed Al-Marri, Director General of Residency and Foreigners Affairs in Dubai. As Lieutenant General Mohammed Ahmed Al-Marri's initiatives have led to significant changes in Dubai's visa system, incorporating cutting-edge technology, making it more efficient and people-friendly. His pioneering measures have played an important role in showcasing Dubai as a leading investment and tourism destination. And the award for the ABLF Social Humanitarian goes to His Excellency Ban Ki-moon, co-chair of the Ban Ki-moon Center for Global Citizens and the 8th Secretary General of the United Nations. As one of the most inspiring leaders in the world, championing global humanitarian efforts and promoting sustainable practice in various capacities, His Excellency has influenced international organizations and nations alike to adopt and implement the highest ideals for holistic development as prescribed in the UN SDGs. It is now time to honor the statespeople who have made the most impact. The first ABLF Statesperson Award goes to His Excellency Lyompo Loknath Sharma, Minister of Economic Affairs for the Kingdom of Bhutan. May I request the Ambassador of Bhutan to the UAE, His Excellency Chitem Tenzin, to collect the award on His Excellency's behalf. As one of the most prominent parliamentarians in Bhutan, His Excellency Lyompo Loknath Sharma has played a key role in facilitating an environment conducive to innovation, productivity, and sustainable development in the country. Also being honored with the ABLF Statesperson Award is His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, the President of Uganda. I would like to request His Excellency Mataya Kaseja, Minister of Finance for Uganda, the Honorable Thomas Tewaba, Chief Whip Uganda, and Madhusandan Agarwal to please come onto the stage to receive the award on Mr. Museveni's behalf. And last but definitely not least, receiving the ABLF Statesperson Award is His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa, the Prime Minister of Sri Lanka. If I can request, please, His Excellency Malaraj De Silva, Ambassador of Sri Lanka to the UAE, to please come up onto the stage to receive the award on His Excellency Rajapaksa's behalf. Thank you. As the incumbent leader of one of Asia's most dynamic and beautiful nations, His Excellency Mahinda Rajapaksa has ensured the overall progress of Sri Lanka's economy through pro-growth policies and commitment to promote peace in the region and foster sustainable development. Congratulations. And I'd like to call on His Highness Sherin Hayyan to give a word to our Prime Minister for Sri Lanka as well, as a word of thanks here at the podium.
Good evening, Your Excellency. We thank you for accepting this award. And by accepting our award, you make this award more prestigious. And I'm sure it will contribute also to the close relationship between our two countries for the benefit of our people. We look forward to receiving you here in person, hopefully soon, especially during this iconic event, the Expo 2020 Dubai, sir. We have many people from the UAE now. They regularly visit your beautiful country, and they enjoy very much for your great people, for the hospitality of your people, for the peace, the security they enjoy in your country. Thank you, sir. I hope somebody can lip read here.
Unfortunately, we can't get the sound to work, so I think we will have to leave it.
Sir, I hope you heard me too.
I think he heard you.
Yeah, very good.
Shukran, Sama.
Nobody lip read here?
And that brings us, unfortunately, we don't have sound for His Excellency. I'm not sure. I think he has a feed. Yes, he has a feed. But unfortunately, we can't get the sound. But we do congratulate His Excellency on his special Statement Award. Yes, and that does bring us to the end of the awards ceremony, and our sincere gratitude to both their highnesses, Sheikh Hayyan and, of course, Sheikh Ahmed, for presiding over this ceremony. Thank you so much. What a spectacular and well-deserving group of change makers, I'm sure you will agree. And so now, ladies and gentlemen, there's a special announcement. The ABLF Awards 2022 has a special activation to support the immense body of work related to the UN SDG 4 that Dubai Cares has done every year since its inception in 2007 in transforming the lives of the world's most undeserved and underprivileged children. So to this end, the ABLF has commissioned our luxury partner, the Mani, 1969, to create a stunning diamond-studded trophy. And this is a very special ABLF trophy, an enduring symbol of leadership excellence. So this trophy is going to be up for auction with the proceeds going towards Dubai Cares projects. So stay tuned for more updates on ablf.com and Dubai Cares social media.
How are you?
Alhamdulillah.
Can we call His Highness Sheikh Nahyan on stage and all the winners on stage for a group photo, please?
Yes, yes, we need a group photo with all our recipients, yes. Everybody who received a trophy tonight, please do come up onto the stage.
Your Excellency, Mr. Ban Ki-moon as well, please.
All of their highnesses, all of their excellencies. Everybody for a group photo. We can't do this without a group photo. Must have that. And so, just before we do take everybody off the stage, can I request Your Highness to honor us by leading the annual ABLF cake cutting ceremony. It's a tradition that has lived on since the inaugural edition of 2007. There is a very special ABLF Awards cake that will be brought on to the stage. As mentioned earlier, there will be a very, very special, amazing trophy that will be up for auction, and all of the proceeds from the trophy will be going to Dubai Cares as well. And we thank Domani 1969, our luxury partner, for creating this very special trophy. And now, here we are. The cake has arrived. And so we have also unveiled the trophy, the very special trophy, the ABLF trophy for Dubai Cares as well. We have unveiled the trophy, yes? We have unveiled the trophy? No? Would you like to unveil it now? Yes, okay.
But no one knows about it.
Okay.
Once they go down, they let them put the video on.
Thank you so much to all of our award recipients, and thank you so much to their highnesses for presiding over it as well. The trophy, the cake, it is all there. A reminder now for all of our award recipients as well to have your acceptance speeches ready, because the media walls are calling. Our media and partners would love to speak to you and to hear your acceptance remarks as well. Thank you all for attending tonight. What an incredible night to celebrate the great Asian century and the ABLF Awards. I thank you all for being here, all of those people who also joined us online as well for this, the 16th anniversary edition of the ABLF Awards. My name is Sally Musa, and it has been a huge honor to be your host tonight. Thank you all so much, and we will see you once again at the next ABLF event.
Each one of us has a role to play to help shape the future of the next generations. I am extremely honored to see that how the ABLF played an integral part in bringing leaders from private and public sectors to play an important role towards philanthropy. I'm also thankful to Damani 1969 for donating all proceeds from the sale of the ABLF Special Edition trophy that is embellished by Damani diamonds towards Dubai Cares.
We at Damani Jewels have partnered with ABLF over many years since the inception to create unique special trophies to celebrate the achievements from leaders across the world. When we were approached by ABLF to create one-off unique trophy for an auction, I thought, what better than diamonds? Because the quality of diamonds are the similar quality of leaders who go through immense pressure and they come out more stronger and show with their leadership the world the achievements which we are really very, very proud of. We at Damani are delighted to make this unique trophy, which is with all gold and special diamonds, which really reflects the unique qualities of a leader as well as the founding of 50 years of UAE. Best wishes.